Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got a fantastic rack. I've got railers and re-rails. Will they be playable after opponent has played? R can only go next to... can only have an E after it to make a two-letter word, so that might present restrictions, but it doesn't. Opponent changes. Fantastic. So I have re-rails. Railers takes a T, so I think this is better. Re-rails 66. Well, bingo run comes to a rapid end, and I have a tricky rack to deal with. X is one of the 4 high-scoring tiles, but it benefits from having vowels, and I've got only 1 on this rack. And since the rack is so non-bingo-y, it may be better to deal with the rest of the rack and try and score well with the X next turn. I'm certainly not seeing any great X spots on the board. So, twin keeping LTX doesn't feel great. What about the vowels on the board? Well, I guess I have twain through the A. Pretty low score, but it blocks the double-double. Only 12 points. And LNX isn't a fantastic rack leave. Now, what I do have is Lanx for nearly 30 points, so I think that is the best I've seen so far. XI is good, but I'm not seeing anything parallel to re-rails, which is any good. And as mentioned, R only takes an E after it, so I don't have any plays in row I with the X after the E apart from just EX. I have Winnle, W-I-N-N-L-E in column 8 for very little, but totally sorting the rack out, leaving TX. Now, fantastic, Lanx remains available. Has opponent provided anything new? Well, there's Nix. I'm not minded to do this. That's 33. But it provides a lot of scoring opportunity in column 15 and also column 12, and it keeps 4 consonants. So I'm going with Lanx for 27. Wow, and I draw another big tile in the J, which is good, but again, a lack of decent vowels to go with it. Through an E, I would have twin jet. That would get the W doubled. It would also take out a couple of useful floaters, and I do have a lead to preserve. Opponent may be attracted to the X. The score for twin jet is going to be rubbish, but it definitely sorts the rack out. Nowhere else for that. Now my J can go next to the O of Porge. I don't have a vertical play. What about a play in row D? Well, I have join, pretty grim, keeping W and duplicate T, and opening up column 15, and only 24 points, so I prefer twin jet for 21, but will that remain available? The O next to the double word square is going to be attractive to opponents, especially a column 12 play, if he has an O or a U, and the X as well may draw his attention. So column 8, not an obvious place to play unless you've got a bingo. And opponent turned over 5 tiles last turn, so doesn't necessarily have a bingo. That's 5 random tiles. So what if twin jet is blocked? What do I do? Jot would take A and S, so not a great play. And doesn't sort out the duplicate I, which I would like to do. Only one I played so far. Opponent down to 15 minutes, taking a while on this play. I guess Lanx hasn't provided a huge amount of opportunity, but that's completely rack dependent. Lanx takes nothing in front or after it. Do I really have nothing else through this O? W and J go badly together. I have Jow, but that keeps double T and double I. But it has the advantage of only taking an S. But I still don't like it. 14 minutes on opponent's clock. What about keeping the J and playing off some of the other tiles? Difficult because my I can't go to the left of P or R, so column 12, which looks hot, isn't available for me, and anything in column 14 is going to provide access to column 15. And the best I can see there is something like Twin, which also has row A danger. Great, just 14 for opponent. And, well, column 15 doesn't really help me. I have Jilt, but that doesn't get tripled. So I'm sorting my rack out with Twin Jet for 21. Okay, well, a more balanced rack. Not a bingo-y one, quite. Fidgetier through ER. Okay, bingo for opponent, 80 points, that's nice. Do I definitely not have a bingo? Not seeing a 7. So I've got fidget plus an I. How about L? No. I. No. I would have a bingo through an S. Digestive. I think. Yeah. No S's available. D. No, and I considered. So, what to do? Not easy. Not easy. Do I have anything in column 15 which gets tripled? Just wondering about glyfted. I'm going to check that. I don't think it's good. I think glyphed is good. I don't think it's a verb. No. Now my F can go under the I. So I do have this. I have Fid for 29. Not a terrible rack lead, not a great one either. Now ING is available in row F. I haven't exhausted the floaters. But DEFIT, that doesn't make a bingo through the N. What about a double-double? Not a bingo in column 5. No. Wow, this is tricky. I'd like to play the G rather than the D. If I can play Fig or GIF somewhere, that would leave a better rack leave. Gosh, just not seeing how best to play. Is there really nothing through this L? I feel there must be something, and almost anything is going to be equivalent to anything I've spotted so far. No, glyphed doesn't hit the triple, so no. Now there's an N in endites for an ING play. So what about fidget down here? 30 points, decent rack lead. This is the best I've seen. I'm going with this. Okay, well, A, E, I, all bingo-y vowels. Do I have a bingo? I would have mediated through an E. Ah, there is an E in the open. Wow, will that stay available? Surely opponents attracted to column 15. Well, what if it's blocked? What about the L? Not seeing a bingo through that. What else is there? There's the T. So what does meditate need? Well, it doesn't have two Ds, so nothing. W doesn't look promising. How about an R? Oh, wow. Fantastic bingo for opponent. 63 points. And opponent blocks my mediated spot. I trail by 30. Great bingo by opponent. So, even more critical, not to miss a bingo if there is one available. Through a T, and there is one. Fantastic. I've got admitted. Phew. Look at that. Beautiful. Admitted for 78. Oh no, Q and V. That's wretched. And look at that. If only I had an I would have a beautiful chi-chi double play. Maybe I keep the Q, play off V and Y with envy, and hope to draw an I. However, only two to come. But if I draw an I would then also have chin. The alternative would be to play the Q straight away. Yeah, and I have envoy on my rack, and l'envoy is good. Oh wow, quite tempting to play l'envoy, stop opponent playing in column 15, and have 5 shots at drawing one of these two I's. Column 1 quite hot, and I did play admitted without checking what was available in column 1. Okay, great, opponent plays there for just 30 points. Let me see what l'envoy scores. 36 points keeping the Q. And I have a 31 point play here, which is likely to remain available, I think. Possibly not. This is tricky. Because column 15 not massively dangerous, the L is covering a double letter square. So why don't I just burn the Q? Still one blank to come. L'envoy increases chances of drawing 4 U's to come. That has made my mind up, because even if I don't draw an I, if I draw a U, I should have decent options. And there's also caddy in column 4. I am going with l'envoy. And I draw a U. Fantastic. So through an I would have capique, which I have in row E. Wow. Not seeing a bingo with this rack, but Q and U are good. I have quark on my rack. And wow, only 50 point lead. I guess opponent has got a couple of decent bingos down. Now 27 for opponent. And that blocks my capique play. I have quake and quaker. But where do any of these moves play? What about a QUI? I have peak, PIQUE. But is there really nowhere for quake? QU works with UT, but nothing goes in front of twin jets. I'm just generally looking for lanes where a Q word might play. Bottom of the board, no good. Gosh, there could be a really decent Q spot. But the best I'm seeing is through this I. Do I have a double-double? That would be a monstrously big score. So that could begin with A or P or R. Let me just put QUE in to see what's left. Okay, there's nothing other than peak for 32. The other option would be if QU was here. That could begin, well, yes, this is slightly better. I can have equip for 42. Wow, that's much better. The K, not a bad tile, because look at this, K can go in front of the I. So I've already got on my rack car and key. I am going with this. And I have a 60-point lead. Bottom left triple, word square looks like it's available, but 3 consonants means that scoring options are limited. So the downside of playing KA or KE is opening up row A, and that is a big downside. Oh wow, another fantastic bingo by opponent who retakes the lead. And well, I don't think I do have a bingo with this rack, but it's not far off. Yeah, second blank to opponent. So I have autark as a 6 with an E, so this rack plus an N. No, this rack plus a T, no H, no I, no. So what I do have is, this is quite nice. I have QUIA, which gets 39 points and keeps the best possible rack leave from the rack that I had. This is bingo-y. The board is short on bingo lanes. All the bingo lanes are through N and T or E and T, and they could all be blocked. However, I only trail by 25, so this is going to put me in the lead. I am going with this. Well, I have a scoring tile in the F, which is good. Only 12 tiles in the bag. So, do I have a bingo with this rack? I'm not seeing a 7. How about an N? I have FOR and FORE as prefixes. Nothing with the N. What about the T? No, I've got after as a prefix. T I've already considered. E, no. What about these pairs of tiles, G and E? So great goes through those. Not seeing anything. What about S and T? No. So I don't have a bingo here. 39 points for opponent. That's a shame. So 9 tiles left. Let me see what fork scores. 36 points, that's decent. That is decent. That brings us level. Let me check the remaining vowels. 8 out of 17, so... Wow, and there are more than half of them are A's and E's. I could get into trouble. Is there something better? Is there something which is F and 2 vowels? What a shame. I don't think there is. I think it's Keef rather than Feek. Yep. FEAK, not good. FEOK, not good. FO, no. So all I have is fork. 2 R's to come, so fork not terrible. But where else can I score? And a couple of 2-letter sets for me to consider. I would have 4 and then through 2 N's. What about O-N? No, A-T, probably, and A-T-E. Gosh, close to reformate. No. Opponents could have an H or a D. I think I need to play here. It scores well, and hope that I don't draw all vowels. Well, I draw one consonant. And fork hasn't provided anything for opponents, so there is hope. I only lead by 11. I have got no scoring tiles. 6 tiles in the bag, and I don't have an eye for the Q. Still one eye to come. This is going to be tight, and an eye would also be useful for the X. Fortunately, only one eye, so opponent can't score off the Q and the X, unless it's a weedy QUA play. No 2-letter front extensions for twin jets. Could I have now 22 for opponent? And opponent leads by 11. Wow, and 2 tiles in the bag. So, what to do? What does Judo take in front? It takes an L. I've got an L. It doesn't take anything opponent's got. Wow. Nothing goes in front of C. Do I have a 5-letter L play? It's not going to score very much, but it might mean it's worthwhile hanging on to the L. 8 minutes on my clock, which is good. I feel I need some time here. Now, column 1. Oh, wow, that's quite hot. And I can only get 15 points by playing there, but if opponent plays there, because G, H and V are out there, opponent could get a lot more. A play of Verge, for example. Over 30 points. Now, just wondering if I can draw a single tile and bingo. What if I draw a V? I don't think Alveate is good. That doesn't play anyway. No, I think I need to try and score. I'm not going to get anything for just a single tile. So it might be worth trying to go out in 2, which would mean playing off a lot of tiles now. If I do have a 5-letter L play, that would probably be the play. But I'm not seeing one, so I don't. So, what about turning over as many tiles as I can down here? 18 points. I may be able to go out with AEE. There's a floating T in indites and fidget. I could draw 2 consonants. 6 minutes on my clock. Is there a way of playing off? And well, is there a way of retaining 1 consonant? Well, that would need to begin with a vowel. I don't think there is. And I think I do need to play here for the reasons cited earlier of the ability of opponent to score there. Opponent's scoring opportunities are limited. If I draw the V, I think that goes quite nicely with this rack. Okay, I'm doing this. I am going with Telly for 18. Oh, wow. I'm not sure I am going out with this rack. I lead by 7. I've emptied the bag. Opponent can go out in 2, unless I can go out in 1. I don't think I can. Just too many A's and E's. I have etage, but that leaves 1 tile on my rack. Yeah, 19 for opponent. I forgot about XU. So opponent can score off the Q. So opponent's got diver. Does that play anywhere? Does opponent have an out? Or is he just scoring? Scoring may be enough for opponent. So let me first of all consider if I can go out. I don't have a 5. Where are the floaters? Now, equip takes an E. Interesting. So if opponent can't go out, I can do this for 21, 4, 14. I lead by 9. I can surely go out with age. Surely. An alternative would be to play D-double-E, and then I would have Aga. D-double-E takes an I in front. Oh, well, I have age, bottom left, for 15. Wow. However, has opponent already spotted an out for diver? Just looking at the front hooks for Udo. No, he doesn't. 4 minutes on my clock. He has driver onto the R. Rats. So that doesn't work. What if that's all he's got? Is there any way of blocking that? I'd like to block it and retain the ability to score well in column 10. Opponent may not have spotted the equip hook. I think this game is likely lost because opponent can score with QI, but I need to focus on maximising my own out. Now, firstly, before I focus on blocking driver, does opponent have a second out? Divert and vert it through the T. Nothing through E. Nothing through E. So I think driver is his out, which he's angling for. So, what about playing Ger for 8? Then I don't think I have an out. What about playing Gear for 7? That means I can play DAE. Opponent can play Vi. 23, 428. I think this is a lost game. I think the only way I can win this game is if opponent makes a mistake. And I think I maximise my chances of that by playing Gear. So I trail by 5. I've got DAE ready to go down. 2 minutes on my clock. So opponent could play Vid. So what if opponent does play Vid? 27, 432, leads by 32. I get 4 on countback. I need 28. I only get 21, so Vid wins for opponent. But I couldn't see any other way of blocking his out. Yeah. So I need 28 to draw, 28 to win. DAE isn't enough. 2 minutes on my clock. Nothing to go after ZA. Nothing around the J. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything better than this. DAE for 21. And the final score, 425 for me, 432 for opponent, a winning margin of 7 points, so well done to opponent. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a game. That was close. Could I have done anything different at the end? Now, it was opponent to go fast, changes, and I get off to a bingo. Wow, what a fantastic start. Now, opponent's rack plays Porges, and I thought about Nix, B14. Didn't like opening column 15 or the rack leave, so played Lanks for 27. Wow, that looks close to a bingo. Doesn't have one. Plays Moyle. And I played Twin Jet for 21. A15. Twilit available for 27. Keeping JN. Those moves are probably similar. Twilit perhaps better because it's stopping opponent playing in column 15, but I think they're just very close moves. Great rack for opponent, plays indicts to get back into the game, and we're dead level. Phew, no missed bingo here. I play fidget for 30, but def available in row K for 4 more points. Probably worth doing. Oh, and I thought about glyphed, but lifted was of course available. However, fidget 30, the same number of points, and D better than G, so I think fidget is fine, probably def slightly better. Now look at this for a rack. Absolutely fantastic spot of sobbings. Except opponent gets 63, E4 could have played the same word through the eye of twin jets as a double-double for 31 more points. Wow. Okay. Now, and then if opponent had done that, I would have had mediated. But I do have admitted, and the other play is just with the T in a different spot. So I'm still in good shape. I lead by 50, but opponent has the second blank, plays yo, and wow, D1, veiny, interesting, for 45 points. I play l'envoy for 9 fewer points. I think veiny would have been a better play. E is better than O to go with the Q, but 9 points is a lot. Opponent's rack plays woo in that veiny spot. Now my rack and equip. That was my play. And here we go. This is where opponent plays his second blank and establishes a 25-point lead. 15 tiles in the bag, super close all the way in from here. And I was pleased with Kuya for 39, decent rack leave, decent score. And I take the lead. But opponent has the Z and retakes it. Phew, nothing missed here, and fork was my play. Val heavy rack lead, but I think that was a risk I had to take. Opponent with curvier, nowhere for it, plays ecru, and here we go, just 2 tiles in the bag. I trail by 11. Could I have won? Well, DAE, C10. What about DAE at this point? Interesting. DAE at this point, when I don't think I'd seen it, would have given me 7 tiles. I would have emptied the bag. But is it possible that I would have had a bingo in row A beginning with L, and I may not have needed a bingo? What do? I play telly to stop opponent playing in column 1. Yeah, an opponent would have played D, even although that's based on the knowledge of opponent's rack, given that there were only 2 tiles left. I think there are lots of... I think it's reasonable to consider what he's got on his rack as being a serious possibility. So he could have had D for 36 points. So I still like telly, and I don't think there were any... I don't think it was likely that I was going to have an L bingo. And if I had played DAE, I would have emptied the bag, and opponent could have looked to see if I had an L bingo. Now, opponent's rack, not fantastic, but he plays UH for 19. I've emptied the bag and drawn a G and an A. What can I do here? Bearing in mind that opponent has got driver in row N, so plays like edge are no good to me. Well, what does driver score? 18 points, 423. Yeah, if I get 25 for edge, I still lose. So I think I need to block driver, and I can't see anything better than gear for doing that. Opponent plays vid, could have played Devi, slightly better play, less count back. And finally, DAE for 21 is the best I can do. So what a game. That is match play Scrabble at its finest in terms of margins, just 7 points separating us at the end. And, well, there was no way of predicting how it would go. It all came down to the last 2 tiles in the bag. And I guess the only alternative to the way it played out was at the point when I played telly. Should I have played DAE, emptying the bag? Difficult to know. There was row A for bingos beginning with L, but there were also a couple of floaters on the board lower down. So super exciting stuff. Many thanks to opponent for a great battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game. Like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time.